Imagine stepping onto a New York subway car, looking up, and seeing an ad that asks if you want to genetically optimize your future child. That was the real market fertility startup called Nucleus Genomics. For nearly $9,000, the company sequences up to 20 embryos to screen for health conditions, alongside complex physical and cognitive traits, like height, eye color, and even intelligence. The engine behind these promises is a technology known as polygenic embryo screening, or PGTP. This goes far beyond the established medical practice of screening embryos for single-gene fatal diseases. PGTP attempts to forecast complex outcomes based on millions of data points across an embryo's DNA. While Silicon Valley pitches this as a straightforward consumer upgrade to pregnancy, the mainstream medical community is pushing back. Major medical societies and bioethicists are raising severe scientific and ethical alarm bells about the accuracy of these tests. We have to ask, what exactly is being sold here? Is this technology a genuine medical breakthrough for prospective parents, or a dangerous, expensive illusion of control over human biology? To sell their service, startups like Nucleus use a specific analogy. They argue that historically, genetic testing only looked at the cover of the DNA book, checking to make sure the overall structure was normal. Now, they claim they can read every single page, letter by letter. They do this by calculating a polygenic risk score. Most human traits are not determined by a single gene. Instead, they emerge from the interaction of thousands or even millions of tiny genetic variants. The algorithm aggregates all these variants to estimate an individual's predisposition for a specific trait, boiling it down to a single percentage. In the context of IVF, a clinic sequences a batch of embryos and applies this algorithm. They then present the parents with a ranking. Prospective parents can look at the data and theoretically pick the embryo with the lowest risk for heart disease or the highest probability of being tall. These scoring models are constructed by analyzing massive biobanks of adult DNA. The algorithms find statistical associations between specific genetic patterns and the actual traits those adults eventually developed, using that population data to make predictions. The math behind these models works well when looking at large populations, but translating population-wide statistics into guaranteed outcomes for a single unborn human embryo is where the marketing outpaces the actual science. The American Society for Reproductive Medicine recently released a joint report explicitly stating that polygenic embryo screening is unproven and not ready for clinical practice. The first major scientific flaw is that genetics only provide probabilities. A high polygenic risk score for a condition like depression or diabetes does not mean the disease will actually occur, just as a low score offers zero guarantee of a perfectly healthy life. The second flaw is the missing environment. Complex traits like intelligence and height are products of a lifetime of external forces like nutrition, education, upbringing, and opportunity. These powerful, unpredictable influences are entirely invisible to a genetic sequence. Finally, there's the problem of genetic interconnectedness. Our genes operate in the complex web, meaning that a single gene variant often influences multiple, completely unrelated traits. Selecting an embryo to suppress one specific outcome can inadvertently trigger unintended consequences elsewhere. Because an IVF cycle only yields a small batch of viable embryos, parents are forced into impossible mathematical trade-offs. Choosing the embryo with the lowest risk for cancer might mean selecting the exact same embryo with the highest risk for Alzheimer's or endometriosis. You cannot optimize one trait without altering the balance of the whole system. Human biology is profoundly messy and interconnected. Attempting to isolate and optimize specific traits in a baby through risk scores strips away that complexity, leaving parents with a highly misleading picture of what they are actually purchasing. Beyond the scientific limitations, we have to consider the ethical boundary we cross when we start treating future children as consumer products to be customized from a menu. This Silicon Valley obsession with genetic optimization and high IQ babies shares an alarming philosophical overlap with a much darker history. It echoes the underlying logic of eugenics, the pursuit of biological purity, and the categorization of human traits into superior and inferior genetic stock. There is also a heavy psychological burden placed on the child. Imagine growing up knowing your parents paid thousands of dollars to select you based on an algorithmic prediction of your intelligence or athletic ability, creating a massive manufactured expectation of who you are supposed to become. While genetic science offers incredible life-saving tools for screening out severe, fatal diseases, the resilience and beauty of human life rely on diversity and uncertainty. This technology commercializes our deepest parental anxieties through an expensive, marketed illusion of perfection.